Have you ever thought about how we're living in a society designed to give us anything we want, but we're essentially the same people who lived during tribal times? We're catering to the same base needs like sex, warmth, and social gratification, but we're doing so through unnatural means. If you think about it, the scrolling mechanism on your phone's a bit like strolling through a forest. We still come across unknown things, but now the first thing that comes to our mind is immediately reinforced. We can say, I like it, and we're given more of the same, or we can say, I don't like it, and that thing will be gone forever. I mean, that single mechanism ascribes permanence to our most basic instincts. We're never forced to ask, why do I like it, or should I like it? We live in a world that constantly adapts to us, so we never have to adapt to the world. I wonder how that affects us. I also wonder why we like squirrels but hate rats. Because they're both rodents.
There were moments we had hope. At one point, he took this trial drug that magically melted the cancer away. But he still only lived another 16 months, which was initial prognosis. Our three kids are still in school. Everything is uncertain right now. It's like I'm 20 years old, but without all the excitement. The only way I know how to cope is by not stopping. I couldn't control my husband's death, but I can make sure that my kids don't suffer in any other area of their lives. We still plan things. I got us expensive Broadway tickets, and afterwards we went to the horse track, which was his favorite thing to do. Homework is still getting done, and college applications are being filled out, so I don't have time for a meltdown. People think I'm doing better. But honestly, life doesn't feel so good anymore. Everything just comes to a screeching halt, and you weren't done yet. My kids weren't done having their father, and I wasn't done having a husband. So nothing really excites me anymore. But I will still decorate for Christmas, and we will still go to Disney World in June. Because I never want my kids to feel like they're not enough. Not long after he died, my son caught me crying, and he asked, "Mom, aren't we enough to make you happy?" I decided then that I never want them to feel that way.
We'd been friends for 3 years, and one day during finals week, we spent the entire day together. That night, we ended up eating at Five Guys, and she started telling me I was so great, and she never felt so comfortable with someone. And I guess I had this blank expression on my face, so she panicked and said something silly. She was just like, "But don't worry, I could never date you." My heart sank. I'd been planning on asking her out after finals. I had a whole plan. Suddenly, it felt like I'd misread the last 3 years, especially the last few months. I tried to keep a straight face, no crying. But after we paid for the check, I dropped her off at the dorm and walked the entire 2 miles home. I kept telling myself, you can recover. She's still a dear friend. Life has its ups and downs. 2 weeks later, I helped her move into a new apartment, and we kept hanging out as friends for the next few months. But then on Valentine's Day, she sent me a neuroscience card. It's a bit of a tradition because we're both neuroscience majors. The card said, "Are you a neuron? because you have action potential. Then she followed up with a text that said, if a man really wants to impress me, he'd bring me pancakes and yellow roses. Suddenly, things were starting to look up again.
You see, every month in prison they have this thing called inmate council where you can talk to the prison administration and make suggestions. I volunteered to be the representative for my housing unit, and towards the end of the meeting, the warden asked if there were any questions or concerns, and well, the NBA finals were on at the time, so I raised my hand and asked if the Cavs take it to Game 7, if we could keep the TV on past lockup time. And, she agreed. She agreed in front of everyone. So whenever Game 7 came around, we were all pretty excited. We gathered around the TV in the day room, but as soon as the second quarter was starting, the TV clicked off, and the CEO comes in and tries to kick us all out. I told her that the warden had given us permission, but she said it didn't matter. So, well, that's when things really started to go downhill. You see, she went behind this protected gate and pulled a silent alarm, and we got every chair and table and stacked it against the door, and we got shampoo and water, and we put it all over the floor. When the security team came back, they had this riot gear and these giant cans of pepper spray, but we held the door closed for like 2 hours. When they finally had gotten in, they were slipping all over the place, and we laid down and we put our hands behind our back. God, I got like 30 days of solitary confinement for that, but I had to do what was right. You see, women are allowed to vote because, well, some woman wanted to vote. The civil rights movement started because Rosa Parks didn't want to get out of her seat, and well, next time there's a Game 7 of the NBA Finals, I bet they keep the TV on at Building 6 of Rikers Island.
And she loved to hate me.